This Liberty Sports Update is brought to you by Beacon Credit Union.
Yes, I thought our guys did a really good job last week preparing for that ball game. I think we had 5 days of preparation, and so we had an opportunity to hit a number of different situations and scenarios leading up to that ball game, and our guys did a really, really good job of taking the instructions and the teaching and then applying it throughout the week. And then once we got into the game, you know, after 2 or 3 series, our guys came back to the sideline saying, hey, they're not doing anything that we haven't seen or we didn't prepare for. So it made me feel really good and us feel good about our preparation last week. In regards to this football team we're going to play this week, very disciplined, phenomenal attitude, phenomenal effort, phenomenal energy in what they do. And so we have to be, you know, on our game because you only get so many plays, you know, 50, 55 snaps, more if they turn the football over, less if they don't. And so with that being said, we got to capitalize on first and second down. And last week when we did well on first and second down, we didn't get in any unmanageable third down situations. We were able to move the ball past the 50 into the strike zone, into the red zone, and score. Any time that we got in a unfavorable, you know, third and long situations, it just didn't end well for us. And so we got to stay ahead of the change this week in order to be competitive with these guys.
Talk about first and second down. It looked like Duke kind of had some success throwing it on them on first down. Did you see anything along those lines as well that, you know, maybe kind of took them out of what they were trying to do?
Yeah, I think Duke had a very similar game plan to the previous year that they had, and it was really just try to establish the run, try to move those guys around, and then take shots, you know, when the situation presented itself. And they threw a number of them up, and they came down with, you know, about half of them, maybe a little bit more than that. And so it gave them favorable field advantage, which then, you know, kind of demoralized them, which takes a lot to do that because those guys just keep fighting. But they capitalized once they got on the other side of the 50, and they were able to get the ball in the hands of, you know, their best skill players and score. You know, and even when they didn't score touchdowns, they were able to kick field goals, which gave them an opportunity just to put more points on the board because every time you get the ball, you got to score or else.
I believe you had all 4 running backs rush for, I believe, over 5 yards per carry. How pleased were you with them? And then, you know, how important is their success or the running game success to the future success of the offense?
Certainly, we spoke about it in this press conference last week about establishing the run and how that will at some point open up things down the field. And so our first 2 drives, you know, we were trying to run the football and establish that presence, which then would open up some things on the perimeter. We were able to do so, and then they kind of countered some things, and so we had to spend a couple of drives just kind of figuring out, okay, if they do this, then we're going to do that. If they do that, we're going to do this. And after we figured out exactly how they were going to, you know, try to defend us, you know, we'd put our stamp on it. We knew exactly what we needed to do. And so the run game has to go. It always has to go. And like I said, once we started running the ball, you could see what we call the dance of the doom occur last week where, you know, those guys, once they sense blood in the water and they know, you know, what's about to happen, just keep running, and then these super long runs occur, and that's what occurred last week. And so we have to pound it this week. We got to do a really good job of taking care of the football because those guys, you know, they practice those things, ball security and ripping the football out, things of that nature. And so we got to run the ball, protect the football, and then when we get an opportunity outside to make a play, we got to do so because we're going to try to establish the run like we always do.
With the big offensive line, how big is that in establishing the run and using the size advantage? And also, a guy like Zach Faust who has a really good seal block on a run, I believe the second drive of the first quarter, to have the, you know, tight ends and fullbacks and even the wide receivers get those blocks to get that running game going and really steal the outside for those guys.
Yes, certainly. Those guys up front, I mean, they set the tone for the game and what it's going to be like. And they came out last week just fired up and ready. And like I said, after those first 2 drives, they realized, hey, we can do a number of things versus these guys. And so those box guys, tight ends, fullbacks, and backs, did a really good job of pressing their landmarks, playing with the appropriate hat and hand leverage, and getting movement. And so this week is going to be no different. You know, these guys, they're never going to be out of place. They play very disciplined, very gap sound football. And so with that being said, we got to be able to push these guys, get movement at the point of attack, press our landmarks, and once we get on the second and third level, score. We have that capability now with our backfield, and so I'm excited about what we were able to do last week, and I hope we can continue to do the same thing this week.
I only got to see about the second half of that Army-Duke game, but one guy that kind of caught my eye on defense for them was number 7, McClinton, the free safety. I was wondering if he's maybe one guy that kind of caught your attention, and then who are some others as well?
When you just look at this defense as a whole, the things that stand out, most are they are physical. They play a physical brand of football. They're not backing down from anyone. You could take off the numbers and just watch those guys playing just without any jerseys on, and you're going to see the same attitude and effort from every single guy. And so some may be more talented than others, but they all play with the same fanatical effort and relentless energy. And so for us, we got to match that and exceed it. And we're playing against a veteran group of football players now. These guys have played a lot of football. They know the system really, really well. They've been playing in it for 3 years now, some guys more. And so they know where they got to be when they got to be there. And they know that kind of attitude that they need in order to be successful. And so when I watch the tape, or when we watch the tape, we're saying the same thing. Hey, these guys all play with the same attitude and same effort. And so, like I said before, we got to match it and exceed it.
After going up 14-0 last week, there was kind of a stalemate there in the second quarter between both teams. Mm-hmm. What adjustments were made to really go on that run in the second half? Offensively.
Certainly, after we had hit those guys on a couple of intermediate passes and some RPOs, they went to the sideline and they said, hey, we can't just let this guy catch all these footballs. It's going to be a long night. And so they had changed some of their strategies on how they were going to defend the outside guys, and they changed some of their strategies on how they were going to defend the run in the box internally and externally. And so once we had gotten a bead on exactly how they were going to do that, we just decided, hey, the moment that they go to this front or this kind of force, then we're going to put the ball here or put the ball here or go there with it. The moment they start inviting everybody in there, then it's time to go let our guys do what we recruited them to do, go catch some deep balls, and that's what we were able to do last week. And it just presented itself, in a typical fashion when you're this kind of offense. They're going to have 2 or 3 different contingency plans if you start hitting in a certain area. They all defenses should when they play against a spread offense, because we have a lot of if-thans, and they should have some if-thans in order to counter it. So it just becomes this boxing match or chess match, so to speak.
DJ Stubbs had a breakout game Saturday night. How's the competition going with him and Damian King? And does it tempt you to maybe want to go to more 4-wide looks?
Well, those two guys are really, really intelligent when it comes to football IQ. Both those guys have played inside and outside positions. I think DJ played some quarterback in high school as well, and so those two guys know a lot about football and what's going on in the back end. And with that being said, there's not much that they can't handle when you're making in-game adjustments or when you're putting in a new package. Certainly we have a 4-wide package that's always ready to go at any given time. But we are very conscientious of how we want to burn calories. We don't want to just, burn the candle at both ends. That's not going to end well for us. And so we got to be very strategic on how we use those guys throughout a game. And then when the situation necessitates itself, then we put them all in there and then go do what we try to do.
So you guys signed a deal with ESPN a couple weeks ago or a week ago. So you guys are kind of have more national prominence, more national TV games like this one against Army. Can you just speak a little bit about how that will prepare your players for maybe, or give them a better opportunity to play football after college professionally in Canada or the NFL?
And certainly any exposure that our institution gets, in addition to our football program and our student athletes, helps us in a number of different ways. In addition to the student athletes, playing on a national stage prepares you for a number of different things post-college. You may want to get into that world as a broadcaster because you like that environment and all things that surround that. in addition to, when you play in a large environment with so many people on you, it prepares you for a number of different things. And I think, being on with ESPN3 and whatnot, anywhere in the world, you can be watching. So I think it helps our program in a number of ways in addition to our players. Hopefully that answers your question.
With Frankie Hickson did not get a lot of carries Friday night. The game was kind of out of hand, but he had some good runs. Do you envision him getting some more runs, getting some more opportunities, or are you guys trying to wait, let the season go on and get him more carries as the season goes on so not wear him out early in the year?
Yeah, we don't go into any particular game thinking, hey, this guy's only going to get 3, 5, 10 carries. We're a running back by committee group, and so you're going to get your plays. When you get your opportunity, you got to make them. And so Frankie may not have carried the ball on a bunch of run plays, but Frankie made some crucial plays for us in the pass game last week. I think it was 4th and 3. Buckshot went through an entire progression, went back to Frankie, kicked it into his hands. He got it and then lowered his shoulder, boom, stick the guy to get a first down. That was crucial, and so I think that group understands, no one man in this room is more important than the next. We're all going to get an opportunity, and when we do, you have to make the most of it.
Speaking along the lines of the running backs, can Tori Matthews prove anything to you this past Saturday that maybe you didn't already know, just in terms of being the frontline guy?
Well, we knew all along that he had talent. We knew all along that he had speed, and he could be dynamic on the second and third level of the defense. I think more so than anything, it proved to himself that at any given time, if I do what I'm coached to do, and I get on the second, third level of defense, there's not going to be many people that can catch me. And I think it increased his confidence and his ability to make plays between the tackles and outside the tackles as well.